Absolutely. Well, that was an interesting start there. I don't know if you saw that, Hiran, but excellent decision by the umpire from Nihar Joshi, opening up, seamed in, just missing leg stump, but an appeal first up. A lovely first shot there from Shubham Jadhav. Pierces that extra cover gap. Wonderful. He just leant into that. He knew where the gap was, and that was a proper shot there, Hiran.
Yes, definitely. I think so. That was an excellent shot from Shubham. The balance on that shot was amazing.
Leg side there for a single. Those Australians that you played against, all of them have played hundreds of games of last man stands. So, as you say, maybe with the batting, guys tried to go too hard too early, and all of your guys, in terms of LMS format, you've only been experienced with 10 overs a side format up at Rhino Cup, so I guess it's a bit of an adjustment to the slightly longer format.
Yes, definitely. We noticed that...
just a 4 there from Prasant Srinivas here, and these two have already hit a boundary apiece, and Srinivas was onto that.
Just our normal routine training, similar. I was surprised, even the same thing I'd asked Mane about when we met in Alpajata. Are you sure the grounds will be ready
Just a pause here. As cleared the fielder just, I thought that could have been Shubham Jadhav taken it long on.
Prashant.
Prashant Srinivas. I was just watching the scorecard rather than let's just have a look at this replay here. Ball comes in, just gets enough of it here, Hiran.
Of 9-10 runs an over.
Then just talking about momentum, as you just mentioned, obviously you've had a tough first game there with the bat against Australia, which puts you in a difficult position already in the group with net run rate. But at the end of the day, you've got 3 games to come now. That's gone through for 4. So Shubham Jadhav just dancing up the wicket, hitting that hard enough to beat long on. Getting going here. Let's just watch him without the helmet on. Doesn't even go that far down the wicket. Just ends up at Old Predator. It's a great charity cricket event, raising money for rhino conservation, and Hiran and his team consistently are the biggest donors to that tournament. So fantastic to have them involved in this Kenya team. Dash, Chinese cut there, down towards the boundary. I don't think it will go all the way before. Well, maybe it does. Poor Sachin having to chase that again. He's not having the best of times, Sachin, the wicket keeper. But on that note a bit, Hiran, we should give a shout out to the Kenya team sponsors here. Mario Tours.
Then we can still try and see if we can put any more extra pressure on Singapore.
Well, the advance down the wicket, it goes long off, but it beats long off there. Just for a moment there, I thought Jadhav could be in trouble. He advanced down, but had it straight enough to beat long off. Boundary there for Shubham. Moves on to 27 off 14 balls. 54 for Kenya. Off 5.2 overs now. So Harin Parekh with a 1 on him. Can he recover? Tossed up. Jadhav down the wicket. That's just going to be a single to long off. If we just update you on the other game in Pool A, the under-23 team, LMS Bangladesh, tournament favourites at the moment, posted 191 for 6 after 20 overs, which was a good effort by the under-23 team. Bangladesh started very quickly. They pulled it back very nicely, particularly with 4 overs from John Evayo, who got 3 for 29, bowled tightly there. Great recovery from Dash with his long hair and the zinc almost like war paint all over his face. Bit of a Lasith Malinga kind of look. Doesn't quite have the sling of Malinga, but he has got the unorthodox action as he comes in. Well played by Shubham Jadhav. Gets hold of that. Dispatches it through the leg side for 6. So onto that in a flash. Jadhav beginning to look good here. Let's just have a look at this bit. Short of a length. Wide outside off stump. All the time in the world. 5 off 17 balls now. He's one of the batsmen to look out for, as we've just been told by his skipper Hiran Varaya. So 1 ball left of the 7th over. Kenya going well. 69 for none here. Dash comes in. Last ball of the 7th over. Full toss that time. Jadhav doesn't quite get hold of it, but it's enough to pierce the gap wide of long off. Moves on to 39 off 18 balls. Provides all the uniforms and equipment for the Rhino Cup up at Old Predator each year, and also kits out the Kenya team, and in this tournament the LMS Kenya team. Also done a lot of branding for this tournament, so thanks Martin Moria and Ian Moria for your efforts in that respect. It's Inc. for their sponsorship of the Kenya team. Straight down the ground there. Prasanth Srinivas. No need to run. Beautiful stuff. Looks at it, and it's been called a 6. Srinivas on the charge now as well. Harin Parekh under pressure. Wait for a single. Question is, these batsmen look so set now. You'd imagine both are going to reach 50. It's a question of who first. Looking very comfortable here, the Kenyans. What have Singapore got? As Parekh got it in to get one of them out. He advances down the wicket, dispatches that over long off. Hard, clean hit. Jadhav moves on to 45 off 19 balls. The Kenyans looking confident now. They've got their eyes in. This is the boost that Kenya needed in this World Cup after their tournament yesterday against the Australians. And this wonderful stump camera view. Parekh has to pull out. Darshak Patel there, the umpire. Veteran of multiple Rhino Cups, flies out from England to umpire there, and he's flown from England to be there. Full toss, advances down the wicket, absolutely smashes that over the boundary. And that is Shubham Jadhav, retired, 51 off 20 balls. Take a bow, Shubham, for 2. They're comfortable with you. Single there. Pretty good looking helmet from the wicket keeper there. Sachin, just kind of helmet you need. Sandeep coming in for his 3rd delivery. Started well so far, but then that one has been dispatched by Samarth Patel, and that's poor fielding in the deep out there. Should have been stopped on the boundary. Instead it's 4 for Patel. They're really looking on track for a big score here. I think Singapore are going to find the going tough in this run chase, so it is an opportunity for Kenya here, just for the batsmen to get used to being out there in the middle and batting in these conditions in the format. Srinivas on strike, 7 runs away from a 50. Sandeep comes in, puts it short. Srinivas onto that quickly, gets a good amount of bat onto that, hits it towards us over here in the pavilion. And that's another 6. Peter Katuku, the umpire from EACDT, the charity, signals 6. He's onto that in a flash. Good connection. 49. He's now just 1 run away from a wonderful retirement. Prasanth Srinivas. 10.2 overs, 110. Srinivas on 49, not out. Sandeep comes in wide outside off. Srinivas chases it, gets enough bat on that, and he's pierced the gap. That's a boundary. 53 off 28 runs. Exceptional innings there by Prasanth Srinivas. Both exceptionally well. These two feeling their way into form, but that's still important for the later games. Getting used to the format, how to play it. .2 overs now, and that's what was needed. Big levers there from AJ Harani, and that is a big, big 6. Well, he looks like a bit of a danger man here. Error in the commentary box with naming. AJ wearing a Patel shirt, his friend Jamin Patel, both members of the Mary Cricket Club, so shirt name wise 2 Patels at the crease, but certainly not actually 2 Patels at the crease, unless Jamin comes in next. Satanju Dash comes into bowl, and that's clubbed down the ground with such power that he'll beat the long off fielder. So AJ Harani getting going. 13 off 9 balls. Just a single out to long on. So when we look at the fielders, we've got a deep square leg, a deep point, deep cover, deep mid wicket, long off and long on the boundary. Relatively orthodox for the spinner. No one behind square. He's hit that pretty hard. Has it gone all the way? It has, and a long way all the way into the pavilion, past the media wall. One of them, the national ground. Ball comes in. They'll make it back for 2 quite comfortably, though. Nairobi Club, unfortunately, due to waterlogging of the pitch, although it's looking okay now, just not as in good nick as Simba Union, one of the other top grounds in the country. So games have been switched from Nairobi Club to Simba Union as the second ground for this tournament, but here's the main tournament hub, Nairobi Gymkhana, and what a hub it is. As Samarth Patel just flicks that away off his legs, a beautiful shot to move on to 31 off 20 there. He'll be gunning for a 50 retirement here. Let's have a look at this. Couple of steps down, flicked off his legs with power. Absolutely no chance for a deep square leg fielder to get around there. Nihar Joshi comes in. Third ball of his third over. Played into the leg side by Samath Patel. It's going to run all the way. The fielder can't quite get round there. So successive boundaries for Samath Patel. He's on the charge now. 30 Africa at Simba Union. Kenya really have to win these 3 pool games that they have remaining, including today, to have any chance of progression after their heavy defeat against Australia yesterday. Kenya under 23s on the other hand. Big hit there by Hirani. AJ Hirani over the media centre, over Blake van der Linde. Massive sixes signalled by Peter Katuku, the umpire. Both play for Meru Cricket Club, who are actually the Rhino Cup champions this year. Exceptional cricket club from east of Mount Kenya. Meru is the area, for those of you that have watched Born Free and Going Free and whatever, Forever Free, all that tack about a bunch of little lions and a foreign woman that likes bringing them up. Lovely cuddly toy story with a bit of violence interspersed. Worth a watch, mainly for the scenery. Anyway, that's the part of Kenya that's all filmed in. As we see another boundary. Head outside off stump. Samath has got hold of that, but it hasn't gone far enough to cover. Fielder comes in. They're coming back for 2. He'll move on to 42 runs. Good running there from the Kenyans. "17 runs for the side to get above the 200, which is always a good marker in a tournament of a decent batting side. So we see some of the Australians arrive here. The ground, Big Ziad Abbas, Danny Batra. That's a big hit, easily clears the ropes. LMS Kenya putting down a marker for the tournament. The Australians turning up, having easily dispatched of Kenya yesterday, but now seeing a completely different LMS Kenya batting lineup. 189 for none in the 19th over. Great to see the Australian side having partaken in the Rhino Cup up at Old Pedder. Just as we watch this last ball, where has that one gone? Over the boundary again. Samath Patel retires in style. 54 of 31 balls. Time as Kenya look for the most unlikely qualification chances after their belting yesterday at the hands of Australia. They need to beat South Africa tomorrow, and this will help build their confidence for that game. AJ Hirani will be on strike for the last over as Sandeep KT comes in, frees his arms. AJ Hirani, big hit again. Kenya on the charge now. Big sixes at that. Kenya laying down a bit of a marker here, 201. They would have hoped to have had this as their first game rather than against the Australians, just to get used to the format, but they're looking good now. Look how big that six is, right onto the roof of the main pavilion. AJ Hirani, 39 off 20. 3 successive sixes for Kenya as they close out their innings here. Pressure on Sandeep KT, toss it up, outside off, and he goes hard again. Has that gone all the way? No, it hasn't. That's the first wicket for Singapore on the boundary. Well held there, under pressure. Quality stuff. Well done to see at the death in the Rhino Cup up at Old Pedder Conservancy against the Australian team. The LMS Australian team played up there as a warm-up to this tournament. They played under the name Boxing Kangaroos rather than the Australia representative side. They reached the final where they lost to AJ Hirani's Meru Cricket Club. Hirani had to bowl the last over under pressure. The Australian scenting victory and bowled an exceptional last over, and he started very well here. Broken the stump out there in the middle. AJ Hirani bowling. Third over here. Only 10 runs on the board for Singapore. Furua comes in flat. Ball goes up in the air. Is it going to carry to the fielder? Interestingly, bounces right next to the fielder. Really misjudged it there. Let's have a look. Edged up in the air. Jamin Patel seemingly just lost it there. We'll cut it off just for the single. nicely out towards the covers there, and he's picked the gap beautifully there, Sandeep KT. Hit the former Kenyan captain and the current LMS Kenya captain here in Varaya through the covers for 4. So 12 off Milovic out in the deep, but keeps it in. Just the 2 runs there. 3.3 overs gone, 22 for 1. As Singapore search for an unlikely victory here. AJ Hirani in again. Lovely shot from Sandeep. He really looks like quite the player. He's playing the shots all around the ground here, Sandeep. Look at this. Just opens up. Dispatch. Wonderful shot. Mid-wicket. They're just going to get the one there. Looking for some middle time here, Singapore. I think they probably don't expect to chase these runs, but be making a good fist of it here. Almost on 30 in the 5th over. Songa comes in again. Beautiful bowling. Beats the gap. Sandeep KT had looked so good. Then just left a bit of a gap there and a bit of seam movement in. Let's just have a look at this. There's terrific players. The top teams from South Africa and Australia and England and Bangladesh all represented here in this event. Some serious talent. They look like 4 of the favourites for this tournament. Great play there by Sachin Pasu Mamula. Onto the leg side, first ball of the 10th over against Jamin Patel. Advanced down the wicket and just pushed him through the leg side. Onto the leg side, first ball of the 10th over against Jamin Patel. Advanced down the wicket and just pushed him through the leg side. .156 required off 54 balls now. Second ball of the 10th delivery, and he's absolutely cleaned him up there. Sachin advanced down the wicket, trying to do the same trick again. He was on 19 off 19 balls. He'd had a good knock, so a bit naive in the way that they went about their batting innings yesterday and how they closed out their overs towards the end. They would have dearly loved to have had a game like this at their first game just to ease into the format rather than an induction straight into the Australia game against a highly experienced Australian side yesterday. They really struggled with the bat against them. They went too hard too early and lost their wickets. That's a beautiful shot down the ground there. 1 bounce over the boundary for 4. Well batted, Ashish Gandham. Let's have a look. It's all around the world to watch one of the biggest matches of the tournament. South Africa against Australia. Sakoth comes in. Beautiful shot down the ground. Ashish Gandham. Well, now he's attacked both of the Kenyan fast bowlers. Let's have a look at this. Sakoth comes forward again. 2 little steps down the ground, just as he did before. And instead of going aerial, he almost takes out the umpire's ankles. Wonderful shot by Gandham. Well, he's showing, just like Sandeep KT did earlier, that he's got some serious cut. Jadav will come, just field off the keeper. Our umpire there, Peter Katuku, one of the charity coaches and a regular umpire here on the Kenya scene. Terrific guy, also a terrific player. He would have been a shout for this LMS Kenya side if he wasn't busy umpiring. An edge onto the pads there. It's left in this Singapore run chase. Kenya looking dead set on for maximum points in this game, which is what they desperately needed. The more they win, the better it will boost their net run rate. Patel comes in. Beautiful shot there. Lovely stuff. Clears the long off fielder. Wonderful batting from Edwin Sudhakar. Where did that come from? Out into the offside to the covers. Well in from Dominic Wasonga just to keep it to a single. Samath Patel comes in looking for his first wicket of this LMS World Cup, puts out a bit short, and he's been dispatched for 6 over mid-wicket. Sudhakar pulls it out of the bag, onto it into a flash, the shorter delivery, good power, flat, pulls it out of the bag, onto it into a flash, the shorter delivery. Good power, flat 6. Clears the boundary line by a couple of meters into his teammates. Wonderful to see. Well battered, Sudhakar. He's played some terrific shots so far. Moves on to 20 off 10 balls. Patel puts it wide out, and that's gone high and straight and far. Sudhakar with a straight 6. This is what Singapore need. 26 off 11. They move on to 109. It's in the shed, so maybe should look at freeing his arms a bit, giving them a go unless he can come off. Nothing to lose now. Left arm, Hiren Varaya coming around the wicket. Beautifully played there by Bharat Alimelu. He needed to get going, hit that hard, beat the backward point. AJ Irani barely goes off the square, fielded off his own bowling by the captain. Eight deliveries remaining in this relatively one-sided contest. 18.2 overs gone. Third ball of the 19th over, and he's hit that beautifully again, Sudhakar. Pierced the gap at mid-wicket. Moves on to 30 off. Doing in Singapore time, Sudhakar could. Goes for it. It's a dot ball. 3 dot balls in this final over from Martin Akoth. Excellent finishing at the death. Keeping the batsman playing well outside off. Almost every delivery a foot outside. Perfect death bowling. Let's see this last ball come up. More on the batsman, and he has got hold of that. Well, there you go. 4 runs to finish.